Sefer Ava, Hilchos Berachot Perek Shvi, the 7th chapter. In today's chapter, we're going to begin the halachas of giving honor in the beginning of a meal in various different interesting halachas. Aleph. The sages of Israel had many customs by a meal. All these are included in the realm of mannered behavior. And amongst them are when entering a meal, the man of the greatest stature should wash his hands first, and then afterwards all should enter and sit down. The man of greatest stature reclines at the head of the company. The person who is in second prominence reclines below him. If there are three couches, the man of greatest stature reclines at the head of the company. The person who is second in prominence reclines above him, and the person who is in third prominence reclines below him. Base. The host should recite the bracha of Ametzi. When he completes the bracha, you should break a piece of bread. And the guest should recite blessing on Ametzi. When he completes the bracha, you should break a bread. So a guest should recite grace so that he will bless the host. If all of them are members of the household, the person of the greatest stature should break bread and then recite Berachos HaMazon. The person breaking the bread is not permitted to do it until salt or relishes have been brought before each individual, unless the intention was to eat bread by itself. One should not break off a small piece lest he appear as a stingy. Not a large piece, the size of an egg, lest he'll appear like a glutton. On Shabbos, however, one may break a large piece of bread. One should break the bread at the place that has been baked thoroughly. Dalet. It's preferable to perform a mitzvah to break open a whole loaf. When one has a whole loaf of barley bread and a sliced loaf of wheat bread, and one should put the sliced loaf together with the whole loaf so that one will break open both a loaf of wheat and a whole loaf. On Shabbos and Yom Tov, one is obligated to break the bread of two loaves. One should hold both in one's hand when reciting the bracha and break open one of them. The person who breaks bread should give a slice of bread to each person. The latter should pick up the piece with his hands. The person who breaks bread should not place the bread in the hand of a person who is eating it unless the latter is a mourner. The person who breaks the bread should take the bread first and eat. The person who breaks bread should give a slice to each. Right. The person who breaks the bread should take the bread first. Those who are by the meal should not eat anything until the person who recites the bracha tastes. The person reciting the bracha may not taste until those around the meal complete saying Amen. Should the person breaking bread desire to honor his teacher or a scholar of great stature, then he, by allowing him to take the bread before he does, he may. Well, two people should wait for each other when eating from the same dish. Shleisha and mantinen. When three people are eating, they do not wait. When two people have completed eating, the third should also stop. But if one of them finishes, the two don't stop for one. They just continue eating until they finish. One should not talk during a meal, lest a dangerous situation arise. For this reason, if wine is brought in the midst of the meal, each person should recite the blessing alone. Or one to recite the blessing and another to answer Amen while he's swallowing, it's a dangerous situation could arise. One should not look at the face of a person who's eating or his portion lest to become embarrassed. Zayin. An attendant who stands before those dining should not eat together with them. It's an act of mercy. As an act of mercy, one should allow him to taste each dish to satisfy his desire. If the assembled gave him more, and he should recite a blessing over each cup, because his drinking is dependent on their desire, not his own. Should one of the assembled go out to urinate, he need wash only one's hand before entering. Should he speak with a friend and thus remain outside for an extended period of time, he should wash both his hands before entering. If the company was sitting and drinking, he should enter, sit in his place, wash his hands with his back turned, and then turn his face to the guests. Why should he wash in his place? So others will not say that he did not wash his hands because bread is not being served. If the raw meat should not be placed on bread, nor should a full cup be passed over bread. Suddenly bread should not be used as support for a plate, nor should it be thrown. The same applies to pieces or meat or fish and other foods that do have shells, berries, grapes, and figs, because they will become disgusting. It's permissible to cause wine to flow through pipes in the halls of chasanim and roast the grain that the nuts may be toasted at chasanim in the summer. This is not permitted in the winter, because they will become disgusted. Should not wash our hands. We should not wash our hands with wine, whether it has been mixed with water or not. We may not spoil any other food or beverages in a contemptuous and derisive manner. It is forbidden for guests take any of the food that they may have been served and give it to the sons or daughters of the host. Perhaps the host will become embarrassed because all that he had was what he served, and then they will have been taken away from the children. Person should not send a friend a cask of wine with the oil floating on a surface, lest one send a friend a cask that is almost entirely wine with only a small amount of oil on its surface. Why? Because the recipient may be unaware that the cask contents invite guests with the intention of serving them oil, and become embarrassed, not knowing that it's wine. Any activity that may cause a person who holds a feast to become embarrassed is forbidden. If After everyone finishes eating, the table should be removed and the place where they ate should be swept. Afterwards, those assembled should wash their hands, as mentioned above. The practice should be followed, lest pieces of bread the size of an olive be found on the floor. It is forbidden to walk on or wash over pieces of the size. If, however, the pieces are smaller than the olive, it's permissible to destroy them intentionally. It base Avio Lahem Mayim Lanatila, Kol Shavar Berachas Hamazon, From Netil Yad Tchilak, Tishla Yeshuv, Agadav Yad Muzum, Esachita Acher. When water is brought to wash, the one who recites Berachas Hamazon washes his hands first, so that the person of greatest stature will not sit with dry hands while others are washing. The remainder of the people eating wash one after another. Honor is not paid to anyone with regard to the order of washing, because honor is not extended with regard to dirty hands, crossing bridges, or on the roads, with the exception of the entrance that is fit for a mezuzah, even then only with regards to entering. After the assembled finish washing their hands, drying their hands and reciting Berachas Hamazon, the person who recites Berachas Hamazon should recite bracha over incense when the incense burner is brought. Everyone should answer Amen. If there is wine is available, Berachas Hamazon should be recited over a cup of wine. We bring a cup that contains a revis or more as spices. The person reading Berachas Hamazon should hold the wine in his right hand and the spices in his left hand while reciting Berachas Hamazon. Afterwards, he should recite the Berachas Hamazon on wine and then the Bracha on Psamim. The spices were fragrant oil. He should spread them on the head of the shamash afterwards. If the shamash was a Talmud Chacham, he should spread it on the wall so that it will not be going out to the marketplace being perfumed. Because the halacha is that a Talmud Chacham is not allowed to go out to the marketplace and he's all perfumed up, because we're worried that there'll be like a rumor of his nus. Next halacha, last halacha of the Perek tests. Well, even though we're saying that Berachas Hamazon does not require wine, if a person does want to, according to the custom we mentioned, so he has to wash the cup over the bracha inside and outside. He should be filled with, should rinse it inside and outside, and he should fill with undiluted wine. When one reaches the bracha of Berachas Haaretz, one should add a small amount of water so that it will be pleasant to drink. Conversation should not be made over the cup over which Berachas Hamazon is cited. Rather, everyone should remain silent until Berachas Hamazon or the wine is concluded, and then they should drink. For Hilchos Berachot Perek Shmini. In this Perek, we're going to be discussing Birchas HaPeres, the brachos we make on fruit, and other foods as well. This Perek contains 16 halachas. Aleph. Kol Peres Segidim Avracha Alayan B'Tchila B'Rei Priya Eitz L'B'Sei B'Rei Nefashis Rabbis. Whenever we eat fruits that grow on trees, we recite the B'Rei Priya Eitz, and the after bracha is B'Rei Nefashis, except Chutz Mechamishes Aminin Aksum B'Teira, except for the 5 species of fruits mentioned in the Teira. Vehein, and they are Anavim, grapes, Rimenim, pomegranates, Teinim, dates, Vezesim, olives, the tamarim, and figs, pomegranates, olives, and dates. Shovar Chalein B'Seif Bracha Achas Mein Shalish. We make a ala michi on these. Anything which is vegetables, fruits that grow from the ground. We make a beri priyadam and then a beri nefashis. Anything which does not grow from the ground, for example, fish, meat, cheese, fish, eggs, water, or milk. So we make a shakal and then a beri nefashis. When a person drinks water with the gavana, then fulfilling he doesn't have an intention to fulfilling his thirst, it's not necessary for him to recite a bracha before and afterwards. Base. When a person squeezes fruits, except for grapes and olives, to extract juices, he should recite a shahakal before and beir nefashos afterwards. On wine, we make a beir priya gofen, or gefen, and at the end, we make a alamechiv. And on oil, we make a beir priya. When does this apply? When he has a sore throat and drinks the oil together with the sauce of cooked vegetables for a benefit from the drinking. If, however, you drink oil alone and do not have a sore throat, he should recite a shahakal because he did not benefit from the taste of oil. Gimel. When fruits and vegetables that are usually eaten raw are cooked or stewed, one should make a shahakal before and then a beir nefashos afterwards. Now, when one eats vegetables that are usually eaten cooked, for example, cabbage or turnip, but he ate it raw, one should recite a shahakal before and beir nefashos afterwards. Things which are usually eaten raw and cooked, and it's eaten either way, we have to make a bracha which is fitting for the circumstances. If there was fruits of the tree, you say if it's vegetables or peres adama, fruits that grow on the ground, then you make a beir priya adam. Dal yiraka shedakan li shalik shlokan mevarach al meyashel shalam beir priya adama. When one stews vegetables that are frequently stewed, one should recite a beir priya adama. So when one stews vegetables that are frequently stewed, one should recite a beir priya adama on the soup produced, because the soup produced by stewing is equivalent to the vegetables that are stewed. Because you usually drink it. When it comes to oil of dates, so then the now, so we're saying that on date honey, shahakal should be made. Nevertheless, when one crushed dates by hand, removes their pits and makes them into a substance resembling dough, one should recite a beir priya eitz before and then a single bracha that includes the three brachas of alamichi afterwards. Hey, hakonim hamatukim shesech the nisim vashkim amen al hashipa v'idma lamelech kol agenim amro shavachim al beir priya adama umitzas amar beir priya eitz. Regarding sugarcane, whose sap is extracted and cooked until it crystallizes like salt, most of the go'anim require the bracha of beir priya adama recited upon it. Others say that the bracha of beir priya eitz should be recited. They say that one who sucks a sugarcane should recite beir priya adama. Rambam says, I hold that this is not a fruit. You only make a shahakal. The honey produced by these canes that has been altered by fire should not be given greater prominence than date honey, which is not changed by fire, and yet the bracha of shahakal is recited upon it. Vav hakeir when you have the top stalk of palm tree, which is hearts of palm, which is like white wood, one should make a shahakal. Kafras shalatzolov, when you have petals that for the flower of the caper bush, when you have caper berries, which are fruits of the bush, which looks like the small dates, you make a beir priya eitz. Zayin hapilpulin v'hazangevil, fresh peppers and ginger. was matching to when they're fresh, you make a beir priadama. Although yavation, when it's dry, into the bracha, you don't need the bracha not before and after, then they shouldn't fall and main eichel. Because there are spices and not food. Foods that are not fit to be eaten and beverages not fit to be drunk should not require any bracha. Not before, not afterwards. Allah says, Hapas she'ipsha. Yain she'ikris. Tabli, stafrosh over to us about Nelis ben Gad Pagin, Vashikar, Vachimitz, Vageve. Vamelach, Vakamin, Vapitis, Akulan, Umvark Alav, Tchila, Shakal, and Yom Devari. Shakal is made over bread that has become moldy, wine, or which a film has risen, food which is spoiled, a windfall fruit that is underdeveloped beer, vinegar, locusts, salt, truffles, and mushrooms. They all make a shahakal. Anytime you make a shahakal, you say, whenever food requires a bracha afterwards, it also requires a bracha beforehand. When one pours 3 measures of water over wine dregs and receives 4 measures of liquid, one should make a beir priagafim. Because this is diluted wine. If one receives less than 4 measures of liquid, even though one has a tam yayin, you say shahako. You would beirach ala peres ilam beir priadam yotza. If a person made on fruit, beir priadam is yotza. Peres aras beir priadam, but if you make on peres aras beir priadam yotza. Val akoil, if in beir shakal on anything, if b'diavad you made a shakal yotza afilu al pas v'ayin, even on bread or wine. Yud alef. Lokach keish l'sheicha b'yadav yisrael bracham nas lemer shakal v'tov lemer beir priadam and imazir nesi. Should a person take a cup of beer in his hand and begin making the bracha with intention of shahakol, and instead made a bracha beir priadam, he's not compelled to repeat it. If he had fruits, and he started the bracha to say beir priadam, and then he slipped and he said, "V'tov lemer beir priadam," Allah is imazir nesi. We don't make him go back. If he had, let's say, a cooked of a grain, a pasach berach hamanas. And he started off saying and he made a mate. The halacha is the time when he mentioned Hashem's name, which are the essence of the bracha, he had the intention of reciting the appropriate bracha. Therefore, since the essence of the bracha was not recited in error, he's considered to fulfill his obligation, and he now repeated, although he made a mistake at the conclusion. Anytime you have a doubt if you made the bracha or not, the halacha is subject bracha is the hakol. We don't make a repeated shachach. If you forgot and you put food in your mouth, bracha if it was liquid, you swallow it and you make a bracha safe, it might appear you must have going to if there were fruits which would have become disgusting, if you remove them from his mouth, berries or grapes, you should push them to the side or set the bracha and swallow them afterwards. In the Muslim, if they're not disgusting, for example, beans and peas, he should remove them so that his mouth will be free to recite the bracha and eat them afterwards. If a person had many different types of food, so you make one bracha and it exempts the other ones. But they don't have the same brachas. You say the appropriate bracha for that thing. And whatever you want to do first, you do first. Now, if you don't want to know, so then Allah is you first to the shivas aminin. You say call kin pasuk in the bracha. Shivas in the morning pasuk says as skit the serve again from ten of them as is German the vash or is hand tomorrow. Matman kin another dates come before grapes. Shatron and shnei sheni the arts for another shlish the arts, because the thing is that the grapes are mentioned third in proximity to that word. Allah yidal bracha achas from ein shalish shalach hamishes min apir shalayin he shal min adogim. A single bracha that includes the 3 brachas were said over the 5 species of fruits, and over wine is the same as they were said over grain products. On pears you say Allah eight pears will tell us the silver arts come. Al yain uimer I'll give him a pray give him a silver arts come. The bachesh mishtain al arts on pears. All you bears, Yisrael, Chesem, Ben, Alarfal, and Pears. And as Yisrael, Alarfal, and Pears. Fish, Misha, Mesa, Bracha, Shemesh, Shalosh, Kedem, Ksin, Fi, El, Tev, Metu, Ado. Shein, Bracha, Devi. Some people add this. Ish, Misha, Emer, Shalatin, Bracha, Devi. Other Brachas and Mazan Blood. Some people say it's only 4 Brachas and Mazan. Alachat as well. Shos, Yain, Vachat, Mana, Vachat, Avshas, Chamish, Ben, Edagan. If a person drink wine, eat dates, and also cook food, he should say Bracha, Shmalim, Vachat, I'll give him I'll give him I'll Priya 8, I'll tell him I'll come to Tevachova. Should it sit in the Hatas of a cinema case of Baruch Hashem, Abel and Mochel Bus Shas Yain. If a person ate meat and drank wine, Baruch Sel Zab Niasra, Zab Niasra, he says separately, I'lltain my nub with a Puff of Agassin gates. If he ate figs, grapes with apple, pears, and the like, he should recite the single bracha. Main shills because I call them Mishukun pears 8 because they're all part of the fruits of the tree. Sefer Hilchos Berachot Perek Tes. In this Perek, we're going to discuss the brachas of fragrance. It's called Birchis Hariach. Aleph, B'Shem Shos L'Adam L'Enes B'Meichel B'Mashka Kedem Bracha Kavos L'Enes B'Reach Tev Kedem Bracha. Just as it's forbidden to benefit from food and drink before making a bracha, so too it's forbidden to benefit from a pleasant fragrance before reciting a bracha. Begins to Bracha L'Areach Tev. What blessing should be recited over a pleasant fragrance? If the fragrance is a tree or product of a tree, you should say, who created fragrant trees. If it's grass, you say, Baruch, bless who created the grass of fragrance. Now, let's say it's neither, it's a type of herb. If it's, let's say, fruit which you could eat, for example, let's say esrog or apple, you are yetza. Halacha Beis. A bracha should not be recited on incense until a cloud of smoke rises from above. The case of working on love, what blessing should be recited on it? If the incense comes from a tree, one should recite Berde Atzib Samim. If it's a grass, if it came from an animal, Gimel Shemen Shel Afar Semen Ketzibza, and balsam oil and the like, Shemen or Orif. Make the bracha who created the pleasant oil. Abel Shemen Zayshik Kovashe Shitchane Shechazar Rechi, Edim Bracha no Berde Atzib Samim. If everyone pressed or sold olive oil until they produced oil with a pleasant fragrance, one should recite the bracha Berde Atzib Samim. Shemen should be Smekin Shemen Amishka Bracha lo Berde Samim. If you look for Shemen Vahadas, if you bring an oil and a hadas, and put this shemen, you could exempt the shemen. They should bracha hadas understand because it's really one bracha for both who created fragrant trees. How the fun of base when one has both a fragrant spice from a tree or a fragrant spice from an herb, single bracha should not be recited to include both of them. Rather, a bracha should be recited for each one individually. When wine and fragrant oil are brought before a person, he should hold the wine in his right hand and the oil in his left hand, recite the bracha over the wine and drink it, and then recite the bracha over oil. Smell and then spread it on the shamash's head. And when a shamash down the chacham, then take up a case, so you should put it on the wall. Hey, there's a suffer whether spice requires the bracha. You make be'er some base and shiva arichim min harba bracha be'er some. If let's say you have various kinds of species, you make a be'er some. If you sat there all day, I'll make one bracha. If you go back and forth, you recite the blessing each time he enters. If you have, let's say, a type of candidim animal, it's called, or let's say lavender, make bread after summon, nargis, lilies, shlagina for the garment, to make a bread summon, lasada, isu summon. I've read the mever shall vinaba mitzvah, but then let's say roses, rose water, fragrances, or rock roses require the bracha of Bede Atziv Samin. There are three types of pleasant fragrance. You don't make a bracha. A pleasant fragrance that is forbidden, a pleasant fragrance used as a deodorant, and a pleasant fragrance that was not prepared with the intent that it be smelt. There's a kids some shop is there some ervim and arise and from love the shots for example, let's say one should never set a bracha over perfumes of false gods or perfumes of women with whom sexual relationships are forbidden. Some shall make some shall base accused to show now also the average hazama. Let's say for example perfumes placed by the dead, perfumes placed in toilets, or oil used to remove filth. Make a bracha. We should also have because it's meant to take a bad smell away. Let's say incense burned to perfume utensils or clothes, you don't make a bracha on that. A bracha should not be said to clothes that were perfumed in this manner because the fragrance substance itself is not present. It's merely a fragrance without any substance. It has a blessing. Party of goyim, you don't make any bracha over there, but the summon because stam nesibis goyim is for avodah zarah. Malachus lakrach edech re'atev. David here goyim in a varach and maybe some varach. Person smell of pleasant fragrance while walking outside the city. If the majority of the city are goyim, you should never set a bracha. The majority are Jewish, you should. So the fragrance for which a bracha should be recited becomes mixed. The fragrance for which a bracha should not be recited, it really depends on the majority.